What is going on, everyone? My sleep schedule is absolutely fucked. I think I fell asleep last night around 5 a.m. I guess it's really this morning due to that West Coast game. But here we are. You know what helps out that? Coffee. That's why we drink coffee, because it's amazing and it helps you get through the day. Now, it's possible as soon as this is over, I fall back asleep. It's also possible that after this is over, I go and I make another fat cup of coffee and I chug it again within 10 minutes. So there we go. That's how my morning is started. Good morning, everyone. Let's have a nice cup of coffee together as we suffer through this really early morning, considering we stayed up so damn late watching the 76ers get a victory. Here we go. Wawa hazelnut going through my nostrils. Oh, smells so good, and let's chug it. Too hot to chug. Don't know why I said let's chug it. All right, let's kick off the 76ers talk. I do agree with Ben Simmons getting to the free throw line more. Everyone gets on him for the jump shot, but I feel the free throws, especially in crunch time, is more important. Or am I crazy? No, you're not crazy at all. That is something that is significantly going to help this basketball team, because if you think about the stress that puts on the opponent when it comes to the foul trouble, that's very important, especially if Joel Embiid is doing the same thing. If Embiid's getting to the line 12, 13, 14 times and Ben's getting to the line 8, 9, 10 times, that's important. That's a huge difference to what this team can do, because now the coach has to make adjustments on the other side because you are in trouble. You're in trouble. You're in foul trouble. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to put in a new guy. It's all about putting the other team into some foul trouble, not so much specifically about Ben Simmons and what happens with him, or Ben Simmons and what happens with his scoring. While that matters, it's about what's going on with the other team as well. Evan, good morning. Good morning, Evan. Thanks for coming in this morning and talking a little sports. Very good game by the Sixers, except for the third quarter. I'm really liking Tobias in the closeout role while JoJo is out. By the way, I absolutely hate those 10 p.m. games. Yeah, I'll go back to, I don't mind the 10 p.m. games if I was someone that didn't have to, if I was just watching and then I could go to bed afterwards. I'm not anti-10 o'clock. When I become anti-10 o'clock is last night. I got to record. I got to make sure I export the video. I got to upload the video. I got to upload the audio to the podcasting platform. So by the time all that was done, it was definitely past 3 a.m. and I was exhausted. So, I mean, look, I'm with you. I understand what you're saying. But if I could fall asleep after the 10 o'clock game, I wouldn't hate the 10 o'clock game as much. It's more post-game stuff that makes it so brutal for me. The Sixers saved all their defense for that second half for the fourth quarter. Yeah, the fourth quarter defense was crazy. You saw it in the first two possessions, too. There were some shot clock violations. There were some heaves going on there that didn't count. You knew that, all right, here we go. Right, here goes the Sixers' intensity. They're about to drive through this game with a W here. And they deserve to. I really don't like the fact that people are saying and thinking that, well, they escaped. They won one they shouldn't have. No, they should have won. If you dominate one quarter of basketball, you don't deserve to win. When you look at last night, the Warriors dominated one quarter of basketball. That's not completing a game. And not everyone plays a complete game, but it's about who plays the better basketball game for majority of the game is normally how this works. Now, there's outliers. There are some times where one quarter is a difference, but with the way that they dominated the first, and I mean dominated the first, and the way that they destroyed the Warriors in the fourth, they did significantly more than anything that the Warriors did in one quarter of play where they scored 40 points. So the Sixers deserved to win that basketball game last night. Do you think the Flyers' lack of energy has to do with the amount of games they're playing in a short amount of time every other day and occasionally back-to-back as well? Well, everyone has that problem throughout this season at some point, so it's no excuse. Do I think the lack of energy is that? I mean, fatigue is definitely going to play a role. There's no doubt that there is something to be said about that, but that's not okay, and I'm not willing to say, all right, their flaws are their flaws, but they had to play a lot of hockey, so it is what it is. No. There's no excuse for what they've been putting out there on the ice, for them to not be able to generate a shot so early into the game, for them to come out flat. It's an embarrassment. And I don't care how many games you play, knowing the circumstances, there should be almost where you're on life support and you know that. So then this it's sort of like when you're running out of gas, there's like emergency gas involved once you're on 0 miles until empty, right? Like there's something that comes up where it's like you're on life support and you know that, but there's like that extra in you where, if you're running for your life, you're running for your life. There's that extra motor going on. With this hockey team, there should be that extra motor going on regardless of how tired you are because of where you are in the standings, and the Rangers are going to actually take it from you. The Rangers are going to take your spot, sadly. When do I think Embiid will be back? I honestly don't know. I really don't know. I have no idea. We haven't really heard much of an update on it, so I don't know. Do I smell trap game against the Lakers? I do feel we should win tomorrow, and I don't think the Lakers will hit all those threes like the Warriors did in the third quarter. Without LeBron James, yeah, it's going to be a totally different basketball game. The thing about this whole trap game is, I don't know if it's necessarily a trap game. They won 9 out of the last 10. They're eventually going to lose. They continue to put together these win streaks. So, no, I don't think it's necessarily a trap game. And to be honest with you, they've answered the bell in enough of these where if they did fall in a trap game, it doesn't really mean much to me. But, no, I don't think that this is a, quote, trap game. You're on the road. It's the second game of a road trip. You haven't lost in a little bit of time. You won 9 of 10. That's not necessarily a trap game to me. That's more of a realistic loss. There's a difference between a trap game and a realistic loss. The trap game comes if you play the Boston Celtics on Thursday, you play the Cavaliers on Friday, and then on Sunday you play the Milwaukee Bucks. That Cavs game would be the trap game because you're in between two games that are going to be emotional, even though the Celtics aren't great. It's the Boston Celtics, and it's your rival. So that Cavs game would be that trap game because of where it's set up. This isn't really a trap game against like a brutal opponent set up in between. Like this is just a tough road trip where you're going to lose a game eventually. That's different than a trap game. And I hope I explained that the right way, but there is a difference. Chris Sheehan says Sixers should get George Hill. He's cheaper and he still has game left. We need a backup point because Shake is not a true point. I've been saying that for a while with George Hill. While everyone has been screaming other names. And look, I'm cool with Kyle Lowry as well. I'm cool with going down that road if that's something you'd rather do over George Hill. But I've been saying, look, you can go with this philosophy of a George Hill and maybe somebody else, and then you can have 2 additions, and that would solidify your bench a little bit. I had a couple calls last night on the Anytime Hotline really praising Shake Milton, and I thought that was a little too far for me. I don't hate Shake Milton's game, but last night he took 14. What did he finish with here? I have my notes written down over here. So I'll pull them up. Or pull them up. I'll just bring my notepad over. He had 14 shots for his 13 points. He took more shots than he had points. That's not efficient. So while he had 13 points and he made a couple field goals, took 14 shots to score 13 points. That's not efficient at all. There was definitely flaws in Shake Milton last night. I was a little surprised by the praise that he was getting afterwards, to be honest with you. Yeah, the power play unit makes no sense to me. They're trying to switch things up. They're trying to get some sort of spark involved. But, yeah, I don't understand the power play units, and I'm not sure what they're trying to do. Powell is another name. Yes, Powell is another name. Lonzo, a couple comments coming in about Lonzo Ball. The thing about Lonzo Ball is this, and I don't know if this is a fair way to look at it or if it's unfair, but this is the way I look at it, and I'm okay with Lonzo Ball. If Lonzo Ball was somebody that you traded for, am I jumping up for joy like I would for a Kyle Lowry? No, I don't think he moves the needle to the same level as Kyle Lowry. I think Kyle Lowry is probably the best acquisition you can make for this team in terms of them making a serious jump in. And everyone might not see it the same way, but I'm so big on that primary ball handler when Ben Simmons is in the half-court set in the fourth quarter with a couple minutes to go in a 2-point game. Ben Simmons ain't it, and we know that. And I know Joel Embiid could be it, and Tobias Harris could be the closer, but now you're adding a Kyle Lowry in the mix that can really benefit this basketball team, and I think that that's huge. And I would feel way more confident in that than Lonzo Ball. But going to Lonzo Ball, here's my concern. What do you want right now with this team? You want someone you could rely on in a bigger moment that's been there before. Kyle Lowry has been there before. George Hill made a nice run with the Bucks last year and on. George Hill is a veteran player that has been around the block. He has played in a lot of playoff series. He's played with big-time teams, so he's been there before. Lonzo Ball hasn't been there before. And I think one of the moves that I want to make during this trade deadline is get experience help that you can rely on in big moments, that you can rely on to be the primary ball handler that won't make poor decisions. Lonzo Ball is almost not a prospect by any means, but he's someone that's like, hey, he needs experience. He's got to learn. He needs to adapt. He's got to be in that playoff moment. He needs to learn how to do it properly. He hasn't had that type of run yet, and that's where I have the concern of the Lonzo Ball. Not really a concern. I don't know if the concern is where I'm going here, but more of I don't know. Is there better options? Are there better options out there? Oh, man, I'm telling you what. This hazelnut coffee just hits me a different way. What was Ben's stat line yesterday? He finished with 22, 8, and 4. And it's funny because he was really facilitating well, I thought, throughout spurts of the game. So when I looked afterwards and realized that it was only 4 assists, I was a little surprised by that. I'm not going to lie. Kyle Lowry can play D as well. Yes, he can. Tony Bradley was magnificent. Finished 8 of 8 from the floor. My man didn't even miss, and he grabbed a double-digit rebound as well. So it was insane. DeLon Wright and Powell. Yeah, if it was DeLon Wright and Powell, does that move the needle enough for me? I don't think it does. I don't know if I would be. I don't know if that would intrigue me enough. DeLon Wright and Powell, if that was your two moves. And maybe I'm not giving them enough respect, but off the bat, if you mention that to me, my response would be like, yeah, But Powell is giving you your 20 points. He's shooting. What's his 3? Where's he? Oh, no. Hold on. He's shooting almost 44% from 3. I guess I'm being a jerk off. And maybe I apologize for saying that. I guess maybe I am being a jerk off. Yeah, I know he was having a good year for sure. It's not like I'm saying that Powell wouldn't be, but yeah, I mean, look, some of that goes to like this team is so bad, and there's always some of that playing a factor. It's like when a team is playing so bad and there's a guy who's scoring a lot of points, you got to remember, now you got Joel Embiid, now you got Tobias Harris, now you got Ben Simmons. That's a different dynamic than where Powell's playing now. I don't look. That would be an upgrade. Do not take that the wrong way. That would be an upgrade. Would I feel the same? I'm relating it to how I would feel against a Kyle Lowry move. Because as I said, I think Kyle Lowry would be the best move that you can make for this team right now. I was relating it to that. Would I have that type of feeling if it was the same as a Kyle Lowry? I don't know. But Powell would absolutely help this team. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird for me. I was like, initial was like, it's nice. But yeah, Powell would be a big addition. Brodes, this is Michael Gibbons with the $2 donation. Brodes, you are my inspiration. My goal was to be like you. Oh, well, thank you very much, Michael. I appreciate the donation. And I don't know if you want to be exactly like me. I'll tell you that for free. I don't know if you want to be exactly like me, but there's if you want to start talking sports, my friend, there's plenty of avenues to do that on this crazy technology world we got in YouTube and podcasting and all of that for sure. But thank you so much for the $2 donation. You think if AV didn't change the D and the offensive lines every 5 minutes, there could be more sort of chemistry with the Flyers? I do think that they're doing it way too much. At the same time, I understand that there isn't that much of a so I lost my train of thought because I was reading another comment about DeLon Wright. When it's not working, I understand trying to plug in different guys and trying to see what works and giving them some sort of energy that way. But yeah, I do think that that it's reaching a point of, yo, dude, calm it down a little bit. At least give them an opportunity to work it out. Don't just throw and be like, hey, it didn't work for 2 shifts. I'm done. No, come on. We gotta find a way to be a little bit better than that. And I think there's oh, did I miss a $3 donation? I apologize, Giroux. I got to find it. Here you go. $3 donation coming in from Giroux saying, I give up on this team. Yeah, I do. I do too. I do too. I'm giving up on this team. You know, it's getting unwatchable. It's getting insane. And they're not even competitive. And that's my problem. They're losing 4-1, 5-1, 9-0. All right, they're just getting their asses kicked, and they're not even involved in games anymore. So that's where I'm losing faith big time in any sort of staying competitive mindset. But thank you so much for the $3 donation, Giroux. Yeah, it's pretty crazy trading Zhaire Smith for someone like Tony Bradley, for him to give you the production that he's getting. It's pretty ridiculous for sure. It's crazy. And Tony Bradley has some tough. He had a bad one the other night. No, he's going to have those nights where he doesn't give you the same impact. But 8 of 8, and he gives you what, 18? Did he finish with 18? 18 and 11. Gave you a couple offensive rebounds. That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. So Tony Bradley, you get a nice. That's my golf clap here at 9:18 in the morning, running off of about 4 hours of sleep last night. Going back to the Powell thing, because people are bringing that up. DeLon Wright and Powell. Powell is a threat from 3. You can make a move to the rim and dunk it with ease. I'm not saying that Powell isn't going to help this team. I really hope that didn't come out that way. I was relating to if you told me I see the trade go down. All right, bang, there it is, the Woj bomb. If it was Kyle Lowry, I'd feel, all right, here we go. That's kind of what I'm looking for if Daryl Morey was going to make the most explosive move. If it's Powell, it's all right. But I think Kyle Lowry moves the needle more for me. So I was relating it to my reaction compared to a Kyle Lowry. At some point, you got a question, do you want to part with Danny for Kyle Lowry? I understand that that's a tough decision to make, especially when the team is playing hot and the team is rolling and the team is playing well. And I think Danny Green's such a key piece. I talk about the X factors all the time. It's Matisse Thybulle, Danny Green. It's that play. It's that type of player. It's those two players going back and forth. Who's going to be the X factor on that given night? And with Danny Green, yeah, it's big, but I think you get that defense at a different size, but you get that defense. It's about the ball handling you get, because I am worried about Ben Simmons and I am worried about this team when it matters. It's similar to, and I hate this, but it's reality, and I'm sorry to stress it so much. Last night, for example, I wake up, I see the comments of last night, and it's, oh, Furkan, you never give Furkan love. And how many times are you gonna do this? He's gonna have nights where he scores 12 points in the regular season. It's been 3-4 seasons of the same thing with this kid. He can't play in the playoffs because he's not athletic enough. He can't hang in the playoffs enough. He just can't. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked to this point. So until I see it, I won't believe it. And that's the same how I am with Ben. I won't say that he'll work in the half court until I see him work in the half court. And with that biggest flaw, with one of your most important players in Ben Simmons, Kyle Lowry being an addition with the primary ball handling changes my perspective on what you can do in the postseason. So that's why I think I would part with Danny, because I think it is huge for Kyle Lowry's ability to dribble the basketball and to set up your offense. That's why I feel that way. That's why I feel strongly about Kyle Lowry compared to anybody else. It's all because of that. It's crazy. It really is crazy, and it blows my mind. How about we all take a nice sip together, though, with one here. Cheers, everyone. Let's enjoy this together and enjoy a nice sip of hazelnut coffee or whatever you're drinking. Raptors don't want Danny Green back. It's not about Danny Green. That just matches the contract. Look, Kyle Lowry's expiring. When you trade an expiring contract and all, you might have to take on another expiring contract. It would be about getting Tyrese Maxey. It would be about getting a Matisse Thybulle. It would be about getting a Shake Milton. The Danny Green is just to match the contract, which expires anyway. You're going to lose him. So it's not about Danny Green. No one's like trading for Danny Green to that level. It's about the young stud that you would get in the trade package that would be there long term, that would intrigue you. That's what it's about. It's possible that it would be a three-way trade as well. Absolutely. Absolutely. Do I use K-Cups? No. I don't use the K-Cups. I use the actual coffee grounds. I have the Ninja machine, and it's fantastic, but I use the coffee grounds. Not a K-Cup guy. My fiance, though, she rocks the K-Cups all the time. To me, I taste the difference. It's too thin. It doesn't give me enough richness. I need it to be a little bit bolder. I need to be a little bit more rich. Whoa, I'm still going to watch the Flyers. This is from Evan. I'm still going to watch the Flyers. You're still going to watch the Flyers? I probably will too, but damn, I don't know if I can. No, see, this is what you can't do. I'm emotionally connected to Matisse. Right or wrong, I don't want to see him go, Omar. My philosophy on Matisse Thybulle is this. He's an excellent defender. We all know that. And he's going to blossom into even a better defender probably because he's so early in his career. How many championship teams have won without Matisse Thybulle? Raise a hand. You know what I mean? Raise a hand. I don't even think that makes sense. I was trying to be different. How many teams win a championship without Matisse Thybulle? Millions have won championships without Matisse Thybulle. My point is, while Matisse Thybulle is going to be an X factor if he is on this team, and even if you lose him and the Kyle Lowry thing doesn't work, and now you got a different bench for next season, and you don't have Matisse and Kyle Lowry walks, so it looks bad or whatever, you just get more bench help. You can always restack the bench. You can always find another bench guy. You can always draft another player. They've done an excellent job at drafting, too, in that area. Landry Shamet, Tyrese Maxey, Matisse Thybulle. Who's to say that they can't grab another great player that can work in that area? Shake Milton was a lower draft pick as well. They've done a good job doing it. So to think that you can't move on from him and you can't fill that role, absolutely you can fill that role. You can find bench players. All bench players are touchable. Let's say this again. All bench players are touchable. They're bench players. Dario Saric was once untouchable to people. That's a joke. That's a joke. There should never be bench players who are untouchable. It just shouldn't be a thing. Now, I'd rather give up Shake Milton and Tyrese Maxey over Matisse Thybulle. There's no doubt about it. I see his upside. I see what he can be. No bench player in the NBA should be labeled untouchable. It's just not a thing. It's not a thing. Would you put Joel on the bench and start Tony Bradley? Give me a nice little chuckle. Daryl is reluctant to trade Thybulle. Well, how do you know that? Are you behind the scenes? You don't know if he's picking up the phone and he's making it clear that Thybulle's in the trade. And maybe he is. And I'm okay with I understand why someone would be. All right? I understand why someone would be reluctant to do it. My philosophy is bench player. Bench player. He's a damn good defensive bench player, but I've seen championship teams win without Matisse Thybulle. You can win a championship without Matisse Thybulle. You can find a bench piece. Every year, these championship teams restock their bench. That's what they do. They go out, they make the mid-level exception rule. They go out and get a buyout guy. They go out and get a one year left on the deal guy, and then they restock, and they redo it again. That's what they do. Yes, I'm behind the scenes, bro. It's exactly. You don't know exactly what's happening behind the call. If Shake's in, dude, Shake, I'll drive Shake to the airport, my friend. There's no way that Shake Milton should be like, hey, I'd be stoked if they don't do this with Shake. Come on. You can find another Shake Milton out there. Let's not get too overboard. Matisse, I understand the debate. And I'm willing to have the debate. I think it's an interesting one. Matisse, don't trade him, trade him. I get it. I think that one is a very fascinating discussion to have. With Shake Milton, my ass is going 90 miles per hour on 42, driving him to the airport. Easily. Blindfolded. That's not right. That's not drive blindfolded here, but yeah, it's an easy one. Same with Tyrese Maxey. Well, there has been some reports when it comes to the Miami Heat. Let me see if I can pull it up. I saw Paul Hudrick of 97.3. He retweeted, this was before the game, it was about the, let me scroll through here. Let's see if I can find it. A lot of tweets last night during that late game. I'm coming close. Aha, here we go. It's from Tim Reynolds. All I can say is this. It's absolutely true that if Kyle Lowry leaves Toronto, his pick of landing spots would be Miami. And I do think he'll be with the Heat next season. I'm just not sure yet about whether he will be later this week. So he's pretty much saying Kyle Lowry to the Miami Heat next season, it seems like to be a real destination. And Paul goes, if Tim is reporting this, it's legit. He was all over Jimmy Butler stuff. Sorry, Sixers fans. So just based off of a track record with that reporter, it seems like, hey, there is this conversation of Jimmy Butler and the Heat in the past, and Kyle Lowry wants to go there. And if he wants to go there, normally that means, hey, the Miami Heat would be more willing to make a trade because they know that he would maybe sign a longer contract. He would extend there. He would stay there. And he wants to be there, so they'd be more willing to maybe make it happen and all. But Paul Reed, Mike Scott. Well, Mike Scott's trying to play that backup 4 role. I don't know if you can get that same leverage, right? So that's definitely a conversation to have while discussing this. We ain't trading Kyle unless Thibauld's in that trade. Well, that's what you say, Saul. That doesn't mean that that's a reality because there could be first-round picks in play. There could be Tyrese Maxey in play. You might not want to do it unless Matisse is in there. It doesn't mean that's the case. And maybe it is. Maybe it is. I'm just saying it's very possible it's not, and that's not your choice. I mean, it is very possible that Tyrese Maxey moves the needle with first-round picks, with things of that nature. If Miami's not giving up a bunch more because they know that they can get him in free agency too, maybe that's a philosophy by Miami. Maybe they go, you know what? We know he wants to come here anyway, so let whatever team trade for him, and then we'll make that push in free agency because we know he wants to be in South Beach. That's also a different way to approach it as well. A couple people are asking about the Lonzo trade. Just to go over it again, I would be okay with Lonzo Ball. I'm not anti-Lonzo Ball. My philosophy with the trade deadline guy, though, is I want him to have experience. I want him to be a veteran. I want him to have the ball in his hands in a playoff moment, in an Eastern Conference final, in an NBA final. I want someone that has been around the block and has had that pressure on him before, and they stepped up to it. And I haven't seen Lonzo do that. So my problem is the youth side of Lonzo Ball. Isn't the point of where this team is now is to not have someone that you need to take some steps with? Like, all right, now he's taking steps in the right direction. He's a younger point guard. He's finally getting a taste of things again. I don't want, hey, we're waiting for a taste of things and we're watching him grow as a player. I'm not here watching Lonzo Ball grow as a player. Give me the 35-year-old that's done it already, and then I can rely on him for 10 minutes off the bench. That's what I'd rather have. Chris Sheehan with the $2 donation. You ready for some Bryce Harper dingers next Thursday? Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, we're going to be live streaming. We're going to do some fun things for that. So just be on the look. I feel like I tease a big news all the time, but there's always something happening. And there is stuff for the Phillies baseball season that I'm really excited to announce, but we need a little bit of time before I announce it to everyone. But there is going to be some fun stuff going down for the Philly season this year. So I'm super pumped up about that. Just be on the lookout. Thoughts on Powell? Yeah, I mentioned the Powell thing. I mean, yeah, it would be an upgrade, obviously, with his 3-point shooting, with his 20 points per game. It would be huge. Would it be my first choice? Maybe not my first choice, but I'd be interested in it. I'm looking forward to our matchup against the Clippers this weekend. Doc Rivers against his former team. Still want revenge on Kawhi for Game 7 from an emotional standpoint. Yeah, the difference is, one regular season game doesn't relate to Game 7 quadruple doink, frustrating, crying loss, and Joel Embiid leaving the arena that way. Yeah, that's not the same exact thing, but there is this dynamic of Ty Lue, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Doc Rivers. There is this, I'm not going to say hatred because that's a little bit strong. I think that there is mutual respect with who these players are and what type of coach Doc Rivers has been to this point. But there is some sort of disagreement between Paul George, Kawhi, and Doc Rivers. There is some sort of realization that maybe it wasn't very smooth. So it's like, hey, fuck you. There's got to be a little bit of that I'm looking forward to seeing between both parties when they do match up. Absolutely. What's my thoughts on the Lakers game tomorrow? Just handle business, right? They're due for a loss. There's no doubt about it. So there is a little bit of me that thinks one of these games there's going to be a loss because they won 9 of 10. They haven't lost since the Milwaukee game. They're playing without Embiid. They are due for a loss at some point. So that's my look on the Lakers game. But here's another look on the Lakers game. They've been fucking awesome, right? They've been dynamic. They've been winning basketball games. They've been cruising. They've been coming out victorious. So they just keep winning. They just keep winning. And that's what's wild. When Julius Randle hit that step back three that double bounced off the rim, I got PTSD. That's funny. Yeah, I did see a couple people throwing that out there that it felt the same and all, but come on. Regular season game and a Game 7 game. I'm with you, though. I understand it bounced off the rim. The shot looked long and ended up bouncing off the rim and somehow found a way with Julius Randle's shooter's touch, if you will. But, yeah, just crazy to see that kind of happen again. Got to beat the Lakers, but can afford to lose one to the Clips. Now, why is that? Now, I want to know, Ethan, why you got to beat the Lakers, but you can afford losing one to the Clippers. Now, if it was vice versa, why would that be different to you? How does that differentiate itself? If you could beat the Lakers and lose to the Clippers, why can't you lose to the Lakers and beat the Clippers? What is the mentality in that? I got to say, I don't think Lowry's an off-the-bench kind of guy. No. He wouldn't be an off-the-bench guy anywhere he goes. But he wouldn't be a bench guy anywhere. Why would he be a bench guy here? If you got to move Danny Green to get him, he'd slot right in. It would be your starting rotation would be a Ben Simmons, it would have to be something like Kyle, Seth, Ben, Tobias, Joel Embiid. It would be similar to that. And you'd have Ben and Kyle Lowry kind of being a duo, I'd imagine. It would look something like a Kyrie LeBron back with the Cleveland Cavaliers. But no, he wouldn't come off the bench. Oh, yeah, I haven't even touched on Joe Flacco yet. The money is pretty crazy. I mean, Joe Flacco has no game left in him. Joe Flacco stinks. Joe Flacco's embarrassing. So for the Eagles to, one, value the backup quarterback so much, and for it to be Joe Flacco of all people, that's a joke. And then you look at what he signed for, what the incentives can be, everything surrounding that. Yeah, the Joe Flacco experience is a very questionable one, and I don't understand the Eagles' philosophy with it at all. I think it's very weird, it's very odd, and it's stupid. Quite frankly, I think it's stupid. So I have no idea why he can't play, right? He's not this great football player by any means. So he's not going to step in and be that guy for you. And I don't understand the contract side of things. That there's no way that he deserves that type of money. So it's very questionable what they were doing with Joe Flacco. It is very, very strange to me. I don't get it. What's up, Sixers? What's happening? Sixers here says, good morning, Brodes. What's up? Evan, Elite Joe. Yeah, that's right. Elite. Brodes, you're talking about a Super Bowl MVP. Yes, that is true. I am talking about a Super Bowl MVP. How dare I? I guess Nick Foles deserves that too, right? Super Bowl MVP, but he stinks. Well, you can stagger minutes, Ethan. Essentially what you're saying is you wouldn't just be in for the first 4 minutes and then go out of the game. No, that wouldn't be how they would do it. But there is a way to stagger minutes. So when Ben Simmons is off the floor, yes, there is this Kyle Lowry concept. I want to know how much you go to this. Is he going to do an all-bench lineup in the playoffs? Is that a thing? I mean, look, I would be really stunned if I saw something like that. But what is this all-bench lineup concept, and what is he looking for? Why do you stress something so much in the regular season that you are never going to utilize in the playoffs? Unless you're just doing that to save legs for your starters for a longevity thing. Okay, over 72, if I go all bench, that means I will save X amount of minutes for my starters. That would then, but the starters are playing the same amount of minutes. That's the thing. Ben Simmons is logging the same amount of minutes as I would if I staggered him, as I would if I went all bench. So it's not about the saving of the minutes. The starters are still playing the same amount of minutes. They're just staggered differently. So that doesn't even make sense. No, that wouldn't even be the philosophy of it. I can't imagine in a million years a coach going all bench like that in the postseason. It would be the dumbest thing in the world. But why stress it so much is my question. Why do it so much and unwilling to change ever if you don't think that that's something that you are going to rock with, right? So I know it sounds crazy, and maybe it's a stupid question, but what do we expect to see out of the all bench with Doc Rivers? What is it? We don't have a backup power forward. We do. His name's Ben Simmons, but I got you. I'm with you. You don't have it. You don't have it. I know. I got you. You don't have it. Well, here's the thing. You want to get starters some rest within the game. Yes, that is true. That is how this works. And now obviously we're missing 35 from Embiid. So we run the starters into the ground. Nope. I just told you what can happen. They're not playing obnoxious minutes when you stagger the minutes. They're playing the same amount of minutes. So it's just about staggering the players. It's not so much about how, you want to run these guys into the ground. It's not about that. Because they're still going to the bench. They're playing the same amount of minutes that they're playing now. So it's not running them into the ground. If anything, it's just spacing their bench time, and they go to the bench at different times. They're still going to the bench the same amount. They're still playing the same amount of minutes. It's just not putting 5 bench players on the floor at the same time, or it becomes a disaster. That's where I'm having my issue. That's where I'm having the problem. For sure. Kyle Lowry or bust. I'm leaning towards one in Kyle Lowry, but I'm also loving Danny Green, so I'm torn, but I think I would do it. Flyers booed off the rink yesterday. Oh, yes, they were. They deserve to get booed even more than that, too. Pro, your reaction to the Flyers' 9-0 loss was priceless. Well, thank you. Actually, you didn't even say priceless at all. I was paraphrasing. You said was golden. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. How would you feel if Sixers got Aaron Gordon? Aaron Gordon's a non-move-the-needle guy for me. There's plenty of guys out there that are just guys that score and all. Like Aaron Gordon is a guy that just like, hey, let me check the box score. Oh, wow, he's got a lot of points and all. Aaron Gordon is not a guy that moves the needle for me at all. And here's some counter argument to it. Well, he's not the guy. Aaron Gordon being the guy in Orlando, yeah, you're not going to have that same sort of power. He's not the guy type of player. If he's your third option, if he's with Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and Tobias Harris, is Aaron Gordon a different type of impact? Yeah, absolutely, he's a different type of impact. There's no denying that. He can't be the guy, but I'm not like a big Aaron Gordon guy where it's, hey, you got to get Aaron Gordon. That's really moving the needle for me. Yeah, I don't think that's where I'm at all. But it's not hockey where you can shift the line. Sure, you can sub 1 or 2 players in and out, keep a couple starters in, then sub them out separately, but then you'll still see the all bench. No, not at all. That's not true at all. When you watch the NBA, there's plenty of teams that sub 1 or 2 guys in and out, and then you rotate guys through. There is a way to do it where the all bench lineup isn't being rocked for way too long like Doc Rivers does it. I mean, there is a way to make it seem like there's not a way. There's absolutely a way. There's plenty of teams that don't go all bench. Some do, but there's plenty of teams that don't go all bench. It doesn't have to be a thing. Doesn't have to be. Ew, Riley says, Philly, Sixers, Eagles, but not Flyers, go Devils. I hate that. I really do hate that. That is ridiculous. I just got a text about some NHL news. I don't know if anyone saw last night, but there was an open mic with a ref, and he said something bad, and I guess they just let him go. So I got to text my buddy about that. It's pretty crazy. I got a buddy who is a ref in the AHL, actually, so he's all about that. Yeah, it's crazy, huh? I don't like the reaction to it, though, because it's pretty much, if you didn't hear it, there was a referee pretty much saying, I'm making a makeup call. I might be able to actually play the audio over through my phone if I look at the actual clip and just play it. Let's see if I can. Let me know if this works. It's 8 seconds.
It wasn't much, but I wanted to get a fucking penalty against Nashville early in the...
He pretty much said it wasn't much, but I wanted to call Nashville earlier in the play, and I didn't get to, or earlier in the game, or he wanted to call something on Nashville earlier. So this isn't much, but I'm going to call this. This is where I have a problem with the overreaction to it. Wow, he's admitting he's making a makeup call? That's ridiculous. Come on. We all know that teams make makeup calls. That's where I have the problem. We all know. How many times you sit there with your buddies, with your family, and when there's a bad call, you turn around and go, huh, that was a makeup call. We say that all the time. Making a makeup call is part of being a ref. Making a makeup call is a part of sports. We all know that. So hearing someone admit that they're making a makeup call, that doesn't bother me because we know that makeup calls are a thing. So that's why I think the overreaction is a little strong in my opinion. But yeah, it's tough to hear. It's bad to hear it. It's not good to hear it on the hot mic, but it is a little bit ridiculous of the overreaction to it. That's where I'm at with it, right? Like, that ref definitely bet on the Red Wings. That's funny. That is funny. That is pretty damn that is hilarious for sure. Makes sense. People from Central Jersey. There's no such thing as Central Jersey to me. I'm on South Jersey, right? It's north or south. If you're air quote Central, you're North Jersey to me. Hey, no Central Jersey. Get the hell out of here. There's no such thing as Central Jersey. North Jersey, South Jersey. The hell is Central? There's no such thing. Don't tell me in the middle, oh, what's Jackson or what's this and that. Jackson, New Jersey. North Jersey. North Jersey. What's Wall? North Jersey. What's any of the North Jersey? Everything North Jersey. That's what it is. It's North Jersey. Once you flip-flop to Taylor Ham, you're North Jersey. The hell's Taylor Ham? It's a joke. Yeah, there's no Central Jersey. There's no such thing. Once you go Taylor Ham, you're a jerk-off and you live in North Jersey. Will any moves happen today or tomorrow? Absolutely. Yeah, it's pork roll. Oh, it's fucking pork roll. Don't tell me Taylor Ham on a bagel. First off, it's a bagel. Hate that. Bagel. Never understood the bagel. How do you spell bagel? B-A-G-E-L. Bagel. That was a bagel. Yeah, pork roll. Thank you. Yes, it's pork roll, egg, and cheese. What is Taylor Ham? That's funny. No, I never lived in Philly. I was always a South Jersey native, and I am very proud of it. Wow, there's people in here that actually doesn't know what Taylor Ham is? Really? I'm surprised by that. So pretty much there's this line in New Jersey, and anything above that line, everyone calls it Taylor Ham instead of pork roll, and they're absolute jerk-offs to do that. I don't agree with that assessment at all with those moronic individuals. I don't know why they call it that. I don't know why they call it that at all. Do we have the Phils do play today, right? Yeah, I think they play at 1 o'clock. The Phils have play at 1. So yeah, I'm really excited for some really fun stuff that we have lined up for the Phillies. We're gonna have some awesome stuff. We're gonna have an awesome giveaway. Make sure. Well, today's Wednesday, so there's a new giveaway that will be happening right after the stream. I will be posting the new weekly giveaway on my Twitter at Brodes81. So make sure you go and follow me there. It'll be pinned to my profile and all. So Wednesdays, every Wednesday, hump day giveaway, that's in action. But next week, when the Phillies start playing, it's going to be tremendous. You are not going to want to miss that. We have some awesome live streams coming. So there's a lot in play for the Phillies start, and I'm really excited to move forward with you guys, and it's going to be fun for sure. I'm nervous for the trade deadline. Why do teams literally wait until the last day and hour to make a trade? Well, because you're trying to get leverage. Well, this guy's this, that guy's that. This guy's offering this team. this and this team's offering this player. You got to leverage yourself. You don't just like, hey, I'm going to pull the trigger instantly, because what happens? Daryl Morey calls, and what do you do when Daryl Morey calls? Then you go back to Miami and you say, hey, by the way, Daryl Morey's offering this. What do you want to offer? Or Miami picks up the phone, offers something, and they call Daryl Morey. Yo, Daryl, this is what Miami's offering. And then you call this team, that team. That's why it takes a while, because you're trying to leverage what you got offered, what you have on the table, and you try and figure out, okay, well, because they have this offer, I got to, amplify my picks, or I got to bring more. Now, I don't say water. This is a question coming in now that we're on this topic. I don't say water. And I know that that's common around here. I say water ice. I say, can I get a glass of water? I say water. I'm not a water guy. The only time I say water, which is weird, is if I'm talking about a bottle. Can I get a water bottle? Sometimes, but not all the time. But I'm a water guy. Oh, you were talking about, no, it's not Italian ice. It's water ice for sure. It's not Italian ice. Has Daryl called anyone yet? Of course he's called anyone. You're not going to know, right? This is what I get. Oh, Daryl, do something. Oh, Chuck Fletcher, do something. Like banging on the table. Everyone's doing that. Dude, Daryl Morey's picking up the phone. You're not going to know. He doesn't pick up the phone and then tweet, hey, guys, just to let everybody know, I called Houston, or I called this team, or I called that team. No one's doing that, right? Hey, I'm calling for Victor Oladipo. No, but they're doing their due diligence. They're picking up the phone. They're calling guys. Daryl Morey has been a powerhouse in this league for a reason at his job. Even though he hasn't won the championship, he's always involved, and he's recognized as one of the best in the league. There's a reason why. This guy does it. No one speaks of what they do, right? What's your go-to Wawa sub? Well, I call it a hoagie. And, I mean, if I'm going there for a hoagie, I'm going for just a good old Italian. I'll get the Ruffles sour cream and cheddar chips, and I'll put the chips in my hoagie. So if it's a simple hoagie, I'm going with an Italian. And for the Wawa coffee, I flip-flop between hazelnut and French vanilla. So I'll switch between those two for sure. Tried to pull it off long enough before, but it's time to blow this core up with the Flyers, isn't it? Just doesn't seem to like core value. I don't know if it's time to blow it up, honestly. You can't. Everyone talks about blowing it up. There's a no trade clause in play for a player like Claude Giroux. Jake Voracek has a monster contract, so it's not as easy just like, hey, let's just dump everybody off. I don't think this team is that far off. I think this team this year is a dumpster fire, but I've seen a team go from 1 year to bad, the next year good, the next year bad. I think you just have to, in the offseason, really apply a lot of assets into defense. And if you fix this D-core, I don't think this team is that far off. Fixing the D-core changes a lot of issues with this team, whether you want to talk about the scoring depth, this and that. When you get things cleaned up defensively, it's going to change the whole dynamic of the team. So I think an offseason of fixing the D-core makes this team a totally different team heading into next season, and it won't be as bad. Like blowing the core up means none of this will ever work. I don't think they're that far off. This is terrible. And this year it's like the Celtics. 2 years ago with Kyrie, everyone anticipated them being so great, and they weren't great. What ended up happening? It was a mess because there were so much expectations, and it didn't go that way. They get rid of Kyrie, something else comes in, Kemba Walker, and then they have a nice run. It's a better flow. They got a better team. Everything's working, and they have a good season. Now it looks like they're on a downward spiral again, and it's not their year. Like, this shit just happens, man, and it doesn't mean the Celtics are set up bad with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And there's a difference between young players that are still growing and veteran players like Giroux and Voracek. I'm aware of that. But seasons happen where they shouldn't happen and all. And I think if you clean up the D-core, you're talking about a different team. Blowing it up and starting all the way fresh, no. To me, you don't need to go into a Detroit Red Wings rebuild. You don't need to go into a situation with the Buffalo Sabres where you start trading pieces to get all these prospects and to go down that road. Like, I don't think it's to that level. I do not think so. They're not that far off. Even though it seems that way, they're not playing with a lot of effort right now. I think if you fix certain issues in the offseason and come back with a similar core with 2 new defensemen, where Provorov's playing with a veteran actual number 1 defenseman, and Provorov is now your 2. And then Travis Sanheim can play with a steady Eddie type of stay-at-home D-man, veteran experience. And then your third D pairing could be Phil Myers and somebody else. Now you're talking about a totally different D-core where it's a different squad for sure. Hey, what's up, bros? From Mitchell. Australia is still watch you, mate. Australia is still watch you, mate. Give us a shout out, mate. The whole world is interested. Shout out Australia. How about that? Shout out Australia. I never had Wawa dinners, by the way. Someone comes in here and says, speaking of Wawa, their dinners are fire. I've not had one of those yet. I'd rather die than go through what the Sabres are doing. Yeah, when we did the show yesterday, so we're doing that once a week. Farzetta on the Farzy show, myself, and then the Nasty Knuckles crew, which is Nasty and Riley Cote, former Flyer. We do once a week live stream Flyers, post-game pods, just kind of shoot the shit for 30 minutes after the game. And I started my little section off with, look, I'd rather watch the Sabres right now. I'd rather watch the Red Wings. I might get a Sabres tattoo on my neck, and everyone's like, no, what are you saying? You're an idiot. And yes, I understand that. That was a ridiculous statement that I don't think is a reality. But, yeah, I agree, though. What the Sabres are doing is just an absolute nightmare, and it's pretty damn pathetic. Brodes, do you say sprinkles or Jimmy's? So I used to be a Jimmy's guy always. I have now transitioned into Jimmy's if they're chocolate, sprinkles if they're rainbow. I have now changed to that. But I always was a Jimmy's guy, Jimmy's for both. But then at some point in my life, I don't even know when it was, I made the transition of sprinkles are the colored ones, and then the Jimmy's are your chocolate Jimmy's. That's kind of how it's changed for me. If Central Jerseys exist, I'm 6'10". That's funny. That's like if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle, right? One of those. That's awesome. Johnny says, I'm a Flyers fan in Toronto. Love your show. It's getting hard to watch the Flyers night after night, and the Raptors aren't any better. Yeah, the Raptors are going through some brutal stuff. Johnny, let me ask you this. Do you listen to Overdrive at all in Toronto? Because I love Noodles. I love O-Dog. I love Brian Hayes. Brian Hayes is actually one of my favorite broadcasters, sports radio hosts. I love Overdrive. I actually thoroughly enjoy their show, and I make it a mindset of, like, I'm going to listen to their show here in Philadelphia. So being in Toronto, I'm just curious if you're an Overdrive guy, because I just think they do a fantastic job. I love O-Dog. I love Noodles. I think they got a great dynamic, bringing on Ray Ferraro all the time. But, dude, I love Toronto, man. I would love to go back. It's been a long – I went there once when I was super young. Dude, I want to live in Canada, to be honest with you. As much as I love Philadelphia, and it's such a big – I was thinking about this the other day when I was driving. If I lived in San Diego or if I lived in any of these other towns, cities, like, this made me. Philadelphia, the sports market, all that, this made me. If I was a sports fan in a different market, you wouldn't have this version of me as a person. This has molded me into who I am today. But, man, I'll tell you what, I would love to live in Vancouver. I would love to live in Toronto. Vancouver's just so damn beautiful. There's something in my heart that says I just want to live I just want to live in Canada. There is that in me. Overdrive is the best sports radio show in the city. I love Overdrive, dude. I really, really love it. What is the Koliakabo? That's okay. I'll throw it on once in a blue moon. But Overdrive is fantastic, man. I love Brian Hayes. Dude, O-Dog is so funny, man. So funny. But, yeah, unfortunately, I'm sure a lot of the Philadelphia fans in the chat don't know too much about Toronto media members. But, yeah, I love, like, Hockey Night in Canada. That broadcast is tremendous. Everything about just Canada sports. So it's just a hockey player in me for sure. Brodes, what city in New Jersey differentiates you from North Jersey and South Jersey? That's a great question. I honestly have no clue. I honestly don't even know. When people start calling it Taylorham, that's when the transition happens for sure. So that's my answer on that. Just to tease a little bit of the giveaway, it's going to be Eagles related, and it's pretty damn beautiful. It's a beautiful item. So you are not going to want to miss the giveaway that we have ready to rock. I'm looking at our selection for today, and it's a beauty, man. I want to win it. Is it possible that I could win the own giveaway? Is that possible? Brian Hayes actually played on my hometown OHL team. Where did he play? He didn't play in Mississauga, did he? Ottawa 67s. No, where did he play? I saw someone actually tweeted out a clip of Brian Hayes. He was like a minus in an OHL game with a brutal poke check out by the blue line. And TSN actually tweeted it out, or Overdrive official account tweeted out. I forget where he played in the OHL. Mississauga sounds wrong. Ottawa 67 sounds wrong. I can easily elite prospects him, but I'm too lazy, and I'm sure you'll say it in the chat. Do you think the Flyers get 2 D pairs like you said? Yeah, I mean, I'm talking off season. I'm not talking about at the trade deadline. Oh, I play for Barry. Okay, play for the Barry Colts and Sarnia Sting. Gotcha. Oh, what's up, Durso? What's going on, dude? Didn't see you pop your head in there. Do you think that the Flyers got the 2? Yeah, I think off-season wise. So I talked about off-season. So someone mentioned earlier, it's time to kind of redo this whole entire team and start over. And I'm saying I don't think they're as far off as people think. And then maybe I'm being fooled and we've been saying this too much. But in the offseason, if you can find a way to get Provorov with an actual number 1 defenseman, if you can get Sanheim or Phil Myers to play with a veteran steady Eddie for a top 4, and that solidifies your top 4, and Sanheim or Myers, whichever D partner isn't playing with that second unit, plays on the 5th, 6th pairing, like now I think it's so much different. I think the team changes significantly if you can find a way to get 2 steady defensemen, legitimate NHL defensemen, which I'm not saying that's easy. It's hard to do. You can't just pluck them off trees. And I'm not talking like Shea Weber. I'm not talking like to that elite level, unless you go out for an Ellis who's injured right now, who has a bigger contract, who can play like an Ellis-type player with your number 1 D pair, and then you go out and get someone that you can rely on just as a reliable, steady defenseman. If you can get Ellis and one more guy, and Provorov plays with Ellis, Sanheimer Myers plays with one other veteran guy, I think you're a different hockey team. I truly do believe that. I think you are a different hockey team. So I'm not ready to just start trading everyone. No, PK Subban stinks. There was a time where he was better, but yeah, the PK Subban experience. It's like, it's funny. Montreal, Subban, that trade went down. Who won it? What went on? And then it's like, all right. Now it's obvious who won it again. Although the Canadians are, they started out hot. Everyone played at their hometown junior team, huh? But love Ellis. He played for my hometown junior team. It's a reference for a lot of junior guys. Also, I love the hockey, just the fact that the last thing I thought I would talk about today when I woke up was Brian Hayes and his OHL career, or Ellis and his junior hockey team. Like, I love the fact that there's a community, because look, here in Philadelphia, I'll be honest with you, the Flyers fandom is very unique. It's passionate, but it's not what I want it to be. I'll be honest with you. The Flyers fan base is a little underwhelming from what it can be to what it is. And it's not just about the team being bad, because the team last year didn't have that power. While the casual fans stepped in and made the ride fun, the Flyers fan base and the hockey fan base in general in Philadelphia has died down, in my opinion, and it's very frustrating. So to have a community where we can rock, like, you can't just talk to Flyers fans about OHL careers, minor league prospects, AHL guys, what they did in the U.S. development program, Cam York playing in Michigan, things of that nature. And you should be able to, but you don't have that here. And the fact that we've created like a little bit of a community of people that want to talk about junior and things that happen in minors and things that are happening around the league and all that. I love it. I appreciate it. And it opens up that fandom of hockey that I have that I don't get to get. Here we go. We got Johnny popping in around the same time. Here's my thing with you, Johnny Gaudreau, in the chat. It's around when the show ends, you pop in. So you wake up too late is what I'm telling you. This is clearly your wake-up time. Do you have your coffee? Do you have your coffee? You keep running on as soon as the show's about to end, you pop your little head in. So it's either you're doing this on purpose or you're waking up a little late in the day. And don't you have a pregame skate or something to get to? Catch okay. So Johnny, okay, hold on a second. Caught the last 15 minutes with my cup of Joe. You're too early. All right, for the people, what type of coffee does Johnny Gaudreau drink? Where are we here? See, I'm a black guy. I drink my coffee black. I go black, and I'm rocking the Wawa hazelnut. So how does Johnny Gaudreau drink his coffee? That is the question of the day before we end the show, because we do have 1 minute until the show officially is over. Iced black. So I enjoy an iced coffee once in a blue moon. 99% of the time, it's a hot coffee. Even on a sunny day, 99 degrees, we're in Avalon, we're hanging out by the pool, we're riding the jet skis, we're pushing it 10,000 miles because you think it's stuck and it's not. I'm drinking that Wawa hot black coffee. But if I go iced, I never go black. I go black hot all the time. I can't go iced black coffee. Although I don't mind it. Come on, give me a little French vanilla swirl, right? I have hair on my nuts, all right? I got plenty of hair on my nuts. Where the black coffee, when it gets to ice, give me a little, give me a little bit of, give me a little bit of that French vanilla swirl for sure. So, all right, now people want everyone. Chuck Fletcher is being called on right now to trade for Johnny, as we would expect that would happen. Trade for John to Philly, trade for John. Come on, Chuck. That's the type of reaction we're getting in the chat right now off to the side. I want to thank everyone for hanging out today on this beautiful, beautiful morning. I was fucking tired as hell as I stayed up till 5 a.m. getting up that Sixers post-game pod. But it's over. The show is over. So I want to thank everyone for hanging out today. Hundreds of people hanging out while we drink our coffee and talk sports. Make sure you head on over to my Twitter, @Brodes81. In about 5 minutes, if not in a shorter amount of time, I will have a new giveaway up. It's a Philadelphia Eagles giveaway. You will not want to miss this one. Thanks, guys, for hanging out, and I will see you tomorrow morning.